Herbal remedies for coronavirus. Ghanaians traveling to a plant research center outside Accra hope to deliver an end to the pandemic.
Distance learning in the wake of COVID-19. As lockdown eases in Nigeria, some students in impoverished communities face challenges when participating in remote classes. Will lack of access to electricity and the internet hamper their learning?
As people around the globe stay home to avoid a deadly virus, the environment shows recovery. Is a greener world here to stay?
Hello and welcome to Africa 54. I'm Chamberlain Oso at Channels Television here in Lagos. I'm joined by Vincent Makori from Voice of America in Washington.
Thanks, I'm Vincent Makori. Happy to be with you again for another edition of Africa 54. Due to the global outbreak of COVID-19, the Voice of America has reduced staffing at VOA headquarters in Washington, D.C. So as you see, our broadcast will look a little different today and in the near future. We appreciate you staying with us on Africa 54. Let's start off with the latest from Nigeria. Channels Television in Lagos brings you that story.
Although the national lockdown is being eased in Nigeria, schools are staying closed as social distancing remains crucial in the fight against COVID-19. Students are learning through classes delivered over the radio, television, and online platforms. But the new approach brings different experiences for students. Many are participating in the process with ease. It's a challenging experience for those who lack access to the internet, computer hardware, and electricity. Some of them are unable to even take part. Channels Television's technology correspondent Victor Matthias reports.
Before now, electronic gadgets such as TV sets mostly meant fun time for children. But with COVID-19, even the mobile phone is fast becoming a learning medium. It's a few minutes to 11 a.m. in the Ikeja axis of Lagos State. Samuel Emeka, a student of Agidingbi Grammar School, picks his chair and table in preparation for his class on radio. Emeka tells us his experience.
Today we are doing English first. Today's date to write down.
In school, we have to do a lot of subjects at once at a stretch. Let me say 5 to 6 hours doing a lot of subjects. But now with this coronavirus, just at home, then we just do 3 radio lessons the Lagos State government organized for us. So we just do 1 or 2 subjects in a day, and that is pretty accommodated by our brain. So it has been really fun, and I think just teaching on the radio lessons go an extra mile in the way they teach than the way they do in normal classroom.
No, you've already answered this. That was the question.
It's a different story for these students who attend a private school as they take classes via online platforms with a teacher on the other end.
Hello, everybody.
Online school, it's okay, and you have a lot of options that can help you understand what the teacher is saying. But for me, I will prefer physical contact with my teacher so that I would really understand what he's trying to say or she's trying to say.
In my opinion, the online classes have been very good and effective to me. And then I don't think it's as beneficial to other people as it can be to people that have access to the internet, know how to operate Teams and Microsoft.
Some parents express confidence in the process, while others believe the new method of learning comes with its challenges.
The challenge is now that maybe sometimes you say, Daddy, I want data, I want this and that. I will have money to buy all those data, and some books also. Books, do you understand? So those are the challenges. Everything points to money.
For the first time, it's now us homeschooling as in with the children. So it's not just them being in class, though they are older, unlike others with younger children that will truly go through the assignments with them. We don't have to do all of that. But my husband has to keep a check to make sure that they are following their timetable and being in class, because with online schooling, they can actually put their mics on and everything and work out.
On the flip side, residents of Iwaya, a suburb of Lagos with low-income earners and workers in the informal sector, are unable to afford either of the trio of radio, TV, or online classes. As a result, their children play football with no regard to social distancing.
The new lesson and the symbiote learning is using data, and I don't have much money to buy data on my phone, so that's why I use TV. And the internet is only the 2 to 4 that is oral. Most of them are written, and I cannot understand what they're teaching me very well. So, but I'm in school now. My teacher will teach me orally, and I understand what she's trying to say better.
Because of COVID-19 now, so we now want to, start doing bandwagon approach. So yeah, everybody go online. It doesn't work that way. Have they been exposed to it before? If not, how do you expect them to catch up?
Hopefully, as time goes on, those in the suburbs will also have access to internet data and electricity to enable them join their counterparts in the urban areas in learning virtually as the world continues to adapt to the changes that COVID-19 has brought. Victor Matthias, Channels Television News.
Let's get more now on remote learning during and after COVID-19. We're joined by Ibukun Adeniyi, who is a techpreneur. Welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you for having me.
Well, this provided an opportunity for schools to get on board e-learning. Would you consider this a blessing in disguise of some sort?
Absolutely. E-learning is not going to replace schools. That's not going to happen. But it is very important to enhance the quality of education. So this is something that Nigeria, we should have done a long time ago. We should have started to integrate e-learning into our schools to improve the qualities of our teachers and our students, preparing even our students for the 21st century, because you go to schools, regular schools now, the kids are still writing with biro. But when you come out into the workforce, you type more than you write, So the importance of computer-based learning cannot be overstated. So, that's been absolutely a blessing in disguise from the COVID pandemic, and we hope to see more things like this.
Like many other things, this comes with its own challenges. Access to internet. How do we approach that?
I've seen some governors reduce the cost of right-of-way for the telcos. That's a very good move. The government also needs good consultants that can make them see the benefits of integrating internet into schools, because it saves you a ton of money. They may look at the initial cost, but in less than 6 months or a year, the return on investment of having digital books instead of textbooks that you have to renew every year the return on investment is very, very high. So they need consultants that can be able to advise them in that direction. Internet is no more a luxury. It's a necessity.
Well, this may be a new normal moving forward, but what are your expectations concerning harnessing this opportunity to benefit the country?
I like to be optimistic with Nigeria, like Lagos has the capacity to ramp up internet penetration in schools and all that, but I'm really concerned about other states. I hope governors can take it more seriously, integrate internet into every aspect and digital education, not just even in the secondary school level, even for at the tertiary level, and even for people that are already working, for farmers, for every form of labor activity. They need to learn how to use the computer, use the internet very comfortably to improve the quality of whatever it is that they do, because that's what the internet is.
So ultimately, we need to embrace this and keep going forward.
Absolutely.
All right, then, Ibukun Adeniyi, thank you for joining us today on Africa 54.
Thank you.
The coronavirus pandemic is hitting Kenyan truck drivers especially hard. There are fears the drivers themselves have the virus, and moving goods has also slowed due to the spread of COVID-19. Mohammed Yusuf introduces us to one driver who has been affected.
40-year-old truck driver Bob Njagi is passing the time with his colleagues. Njagi's contract was terminated after it took too long to deliver goods due to coronavirus restrictions.
All the goods we are moving to Kampala had to wait for over 2 weeks before they could cross to the other side. So this means there is no business, and we are also out of work.
Long-distance truckers in East Africa are suspected of carrying coronavirus, which has stalled activities at the borders.
At the border, every country has its restrictions. In Kenya, we have our challenges. Uganda has a challenge. For example, when we arrive in Uganda, they confiscate our possessions, saying they are bringing corona and don't return them. It's a problem everywhere.
The restrictions to limit the spread of the coronavirus in East African nations has forced some drivers to work overtime.
It is forcing transport drivers to be behind the wheel for a very, very long period of time. And so you find that these drivers are suffering from fatigue. And it's not a very good thing to have a fatigued driver on the road. So we are still calling upon the government to try and reorganize the measures so that they're also favorable to our drivers.
Kenya's government spokesman Cyrus Oguna says truckers must live with these conditions as long as the virus is spreading.
Every truck driver must be able to ensure that he's planned his journey well, so that after 48 hours he will have been issued by that corona-free certificate to be allowed to travel. What that means is this: for those truck drivers that may test positive, then they'll not be allowed to travel. Only those that are negative will be allowed to travel. And then after 14 days again, they must come and back and take another coronavirus test.
Governments in the region have agreed to work together and share the driver statuses as one way to ease the delay of goods. Mohammed Yusuf for VOA News, Nairobi.
High school students in Tunisia are returning to the classroom after weeks away from school. Many of them are concerned about their safety as the virus still lingers. But it's a step the country is choosing to take as part of a plan to ease lockdown measures imposed to prevent the spread of the coronavirus.
A number of schools in Tunisia have reopened their doors to students under strict health rules as part of a plan to ease lockdown measures and resume daily life while limiting the spread of the coronavirus. Strict precautionary measures have been taken in over 600 reopened schools and education centers, including the enforcement of social distancing, face mask, hand sanitization, and the regular disinfection of school premises.
The precautions that have been taken are based on health protocols agreed upon by experts in the health ministry. It is a strict health procedure related to social distancing, wearing masks, hand sanitization, disinfection of educational institutions, and temperature measurement, as you have seen, and this is strictly applied to by all our educational institutions.
As students leave their homes for the first time, some say they feel nervous and scared. I am scared for my family. You feel like it is over, but there is still fear. In coordination with the Ministry of Health, the Education Ministry is also performing rapid tests that screen students who are either leaving the state or have just returned from another state for COVID-19.
This test is meant to investigate the spread of coronavirus. We did it with high school students who are moving to other states or have just come back from another state. This is a quick test, and the result is available in 15 to 20 minutes.
Over the past 2 weeks, Tunisia has been relaxing its general lockdown. The night curfew has been shortened and schools are now back to receiving students. The North African country has so far recorded 1,051 confirmed coronavirus cases and 48 deaths.
I'd like to invite you to visit our website, channelstv.com, for news and other programming around the clock. You can also find us at youtube.com/channelsweb. Still to come on the program, meet Senegalese artist Soli Cisse. His work, entitled Corona, highlights the pandemic has changed the way people interact with each other. That's in a moment. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Africa 54. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington. Since the beginning of the COVID-19 outbreak, Ghanaians have been traveling to a plant research center outside Accra to hand scientists and researchers herbal products and plants that they think will help cure the coronavirus or at least alleviate symptoms. About 70% of Ghanaians depend on herbal remedies for their health care. Last year, general hospitals began integrating their practitioners and training them to incorporate scientific methods into their work. Stacey Knott reports from Mampong Akwampem.
The Centre for Plant Medicine Research grew out of a visit by a Ghanaian doctor to China in the 1960s to learn from Chinese herbal medicine. The centre's acting executive director dreams of finding a cure for COVID-19, the coronavirus that came from China. And he's not the only one. Some people come to the centre claiming they have a cure for the virus, revealed to them in a dream.
What we've told them is that it's good that is being revealed to you, but at the Center for Plant Medicine Research, what we do is that we do research to look at the safety of it, and then also to make sure that it's something that can be consumed by the public, and we also make sure that it's something that is plant-based.
Researchers have been testing local herbal products to see what might help in Ghana's fight against COVID-19. So far, they have only recommended herbal products to boost immunity, but the centre is also testing and planning trials of herbal medicines against the virus.
Herbs have what we call phytonutrients or phytoconstituents. And when we use these herbs, they have a broad activity that helps the whole human. It contributes to health a lot.
Ghanaians' belief in traditional plant-based medicine is widespread. The centre grows medicinal plants to help with a range of diseases and conditions, including malaria, typhoid, and high blood pressure.
Our forefathers were using these herbs long before we were born, but they didn't have the scientific means to research and know the actual dosage of the plant. Now we are being privileged to have that technology at hand. So then we have to then attach that technology to the herbal aspects that can be very safe for us to consume.
Trader Abena Oye relies on herbal remedies and hopes Ghana will find a traditional cure for COVID-19.
We will be happy because the illness is something that is worrying us. All our finances are messed up. The whole world is a mess. So if the medicine comes, we will be very happy and we will take it and it will help us and Ghana will be held in high esteem.
That is the ultimate goal of Ghana's Centre for Plant Medicine Research. But any treatment, they say, must rely on scientific evidence, not just dreams. Stacey Knott for VOA News, Mampong Akwampem, Ghana.
Renowned Senegalese artist Soli Cisse is working on a series of paintings entitled Corona, which he says bears witness to the changes in the way people interact with each other in the wake of the coronavirus outbreak. He believes art produced during the pandemic will earn their place in museums. Have a look.
A few months ago, renowned Senegalese artist Soli Cisse was working on a series of paintings for the Dakar Biennale, a biannual event for art lovers showcasing the best of African art. This year's month-long exhibition was due to kick off on May the 28th, but was cancelled because of the coronavirus pandemic. Cisse is now working on a new series called Corona, following 5 themes: the virus, social distancing, community transmissions, quarantine, and the virus environment. The artist says the COVID-19 pandemic has changed him radically and the way he paints his interpretation of the world.
I've noticed for a while that my characters are separated, and it changes the way my work is read, because I usually accumulate my characters. They overlap. There's a social aspect. Characters touching was important to show that there was a link between us. But now we have no choice. It's as if this gap was forced on us. The distancing was imposed, and we have to live with it.
Cisse says people are struggling with the fact that the novel coronavirus is invisible. He describes it as an indomitable adversary that people fear, which redefines the way individuals perceive themselves and each other.
In fact, these paintings bear witness to this era, the corona era, which we're living through. Obviously, it will have an impact. It will affect production and on our subconscious. So now here, we are reproducing what we're living through. These are things that are there. They exist. That's sadly the reality. So all we're doing is representing what we're feeling.
The effects of the global pandemic will be profound and transformative, and Cisse wants to mark the moment in history.
And so Corona is a period, but a period that will mark us for life. So these paintings for me are paintings that stand as witness to an extremely difficult, a hard period that we won't be forgetting anytime soon. So for me, these are works that will remain in the museums.
Although this year's Dakar Biennale is cancelled, Cisse believes the pandemic will feed artists' imagination for the next event. He hopes the organizers will give people the time to heal the wound of COVID-19 and wait until 2022 for the next meeting of great African artists in the Senegalese capital.
The coronavirus pandemic has left very few spheres of life unaffected, and while the virus is dangerous and has already caused hundreds of thousands of deaths, it has a positive effect on the environment. People leave their homes less, so there is less litter and less carbon emission. But it's still to be seen whether the newly acquired green habits are here to stay. Maxim Moskalov has a story.
Researcher Jordan Wildish, author of the Environmental Tracking Project, has created an online chart that shows nitrogen dioxide emissions in large cities before and after the WHO pandemic declaration. The results: in most US cities, the carbon emission rate fell by anything from 15% in San Francisco to 30% in Los Angeles.
On the US average, it's about a 30% drop in nitrogen dioxide pollution. And so we see those drops as really showing a change in behavior. By collecting and understanding the impacts of our behavior changes on air quality, we can hopefully inform policy going forward that will allow us to rebuild a sustainable economy.
The number of lives saved thanks to the drop in emissions might surpass the number of COVID-19 victims, believes Marshall Burke from the Center on Food Security and the Environment at Stanford University.
The improvements in air quality were quite large. We saw roughly 20 to 30% improvements in air quality in a very short period over China. So my calculation was, conservatively, it could have saved an additional 50,000 lives across China.
Energy efficiency expert Timur Ahmedov says the pandemic has proven how easily millions of people can change their behavior while acquiring new habits, like working remotely and use public transport less.
What we've seen is that if people change their behavior at the same time, the air quality is going to improve significantly. The argument that our actions can hardly affect the environment and that we need at least 50 years to see some change is being proven wrong.
What people are seeing now are the speedy results of a forced experiment to cut the carbon emissions across the globe. The question is, will these changes stick once the world opens back up? Maxim Moskalkov for VOA News, Washington.
And that's our show for today. You can find all the continent's top news and world news online at voaafrica.com. Check it out. I'm Vincent Makori in Washington. Channels Television has our last word from Lagos.
Many thanks, Vincent. We look forward to bringing you another show next week. Remember, channelstv.com is your source for news and other programming. I'm Chamberlain Oso. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.